So what is going on here? When it headline, ABC News in Austin, volunteers needed to test H1N1 vaccine. The government is calling on thousands of volunteers to test the H1N1 flu vaccine. The testing will take place at 8 medical centers in the United States, including Baylor Vaccine Research Center in Houston. The test will help students determine which formula works best at what dosage. No one has it. They say 1 million people have been infected with it, but that's like everybody's infected with viruses every day that do nothing. I mean, it's a shot for something that doesn't even kill you or make you sick, and they admit it's already mutated a bunch, so it's not even the right vaccine. Then, U.S. buys 195 million doses of swine flu vaccine. Government hopes to speed development for fall vaccination program. MSNBC. Then I got another one out of Oklahoma newspaper, the Daily Oklahoman, saying they're going to forcibly inject 12,000 public school kids, telling them they have to take it. And Obama says it's 3 shots, 3 different ones. Folks, okay, Bob Chapman's been holding while I was ranting. Bob, this is really starting to take shape in a scary way. What do you see with your background in Army intelligence, counterintelligence? What do you see here, or in your economic background? Baxter Pharmaceutical secretly mixing live bird flu, according to London Telegraph. A bunch of people die that take other bird flu vaccine trials. In fact, put that on screen, folks. What is going on here, Bob?
Well, first of all, the flu in 1918 was injected into servicemen who spread it not only in the United States and Europe, and then it became pandemic throughout the world. I don't know what their intentions were at the time. My grandfather died from it, and my father came a whisper away from dying. So the swine flu of 1918, known as the Spanish flu, had it been that effective on my 6-year-old dad, I wouldn't be here today. This is another experiment, but this time it's bigger. Number one, they're going to make a pile of money for the pharmaceutical companies, the major shareholders of which are foundations and the Illuminati. They want crowd control. They want to be able to herd people around and make them do what they want to do. And you talked about firemen and policemen refusing to do inoculations and things like that because obviously somebody told them where this was all leading to. I think what they're going to do is I think they're going to use the shots to spread the flu. That's what I think, and as you have pointed out so many times, they want to reduce population. Whether it's adults or children, they don't care. They just want to get them out of the way. And so I think those are the salient factors. If you probably noticed, there is a journalist in Austria who filed a suit against Baxter, and then she filed some other suits against the UN and the World Bank and everybody else who's involved in this thing. And Alex, it's a giant scam, but it's going to kill a lot of people because they're going to be the killer, the government.
Well, we forget history, and your grandfather was killed, your dad almost killed. It's on record that they had an inoculation program at 1, and then it came out later, 8 different military bases. The troops all dropped dead. They spread it. It was a bioweapon. Same thing in 76. It broke out at military bases. Then it was the vaccine after. I got 60 Minutes right here. I just put it on screen for people at prisonplanet.tv that killed people. And then
Alex,
take Gardasil.
It's a biological MK Ultra.
Well, it is. It's a psyop, but you know what's amazing here to me, Bob, is that the Gardasil, 3 years ago, they had the trials, killed masses of young women that took the human papillomavirus shot. The insert for the vaccine, live cancer virus vaccine, admits it doesn't even protect you from it. Thousands of strains, 300 plus active of this human papillomavirus. And then it's killing the girls in mass now. It's like a test. We can give it to you, it kills you, and then we don't even get in trouble.
And get rid of the breeders.
Yeah, they're targeting our little girls. Just like, well, I mean, folks, I just can't handle it anymore. Bob, let's continue along this line, then into the economy. But I hope it made sense for everybody, and I want Bob to comment on this. The flu isn't killing anybody, but they're saying they're getting ready to forcibly inject us. I mean, how obvious is this? And they admit the shot doesn't even protect you from it.
The new world order beast is genetically modifying your food, mixing vegetables with animals, and now experimenting with viruses. Without a long-term food solution, you will have just two options: starve, or surrender. All canned food supplies will eventually run out. What then? Grow your own healthy food and feed your family forever. SurvivalistSeeds.com is now the nation's largest bulk heirloom seed company. And it's owned by a real patriot, Big John Lipscomb. You can now have an infinite amount of healthy vegetables like a watermelon, a bundle of carrots, or tomatoes for a little more than a penny each. SurvivalistSeeds.com. And now you can go into business with Big John at SurvivalistSeeds.com by becoming an affiliate. See his link at SurvivalistSeeds.com.
I'm almost hyperventilating on this subject, but it's so obvious to me and everybody else, but I guess not the general public. The regular flu kills 37,000. When there are normal deaths this winter, if there are a couple thousand deaths, they're going to act like it's the end of the world, forced inoculations. The perfect cover for Obama to get all his police state measures through Congress, his carbon taxes, his new Bank of the World, where this new bank will rule the United States. I mean, they're openly announcing it. Do you see them using this flu or thinking about using it as a cover, as the stage crises they need?
There's a good possibility of that because they could use it as a stepping stone. And that stepping stone is very strong. And I believe that probably the next thing that would happen after that perhaps would be an extension of warfare, perhaps in the Middle East, a situation with the dollar where others don't want to take it because it's fallen, which could bring on a bank holiday. There's a whole combination of things that they're working on here that you and I have to back into, and others like us, because we're not on the inside. We don't know exactly what we're going. We have to look at the history of what they've done and the history of history. And then we have to back into what we think they're going to do. But there's no question. This is part and parcel of something much bigger.
And it's not just us saying this. Michael Savage, Limbaugh, they're all saying Obama may stage a crisis, economic, military, or in the case of Savage, and he's like the third biggest host in the country, he's saying stage a terror attack. If guys at that level have been given the green light to talk about this, that means some major people, even in the system, are concerned about it. I mean, I don't see Obama being able to continue what he's doing without a stage crises or group of crises, but because we've exposed government stage crises and terror, the Hegelian dialectic of problem, reaction, solution, creating crises, then offering the solution, I don't see them getting away with it. But I also don't see them continuing their operation without it. I mean, the Gallup poll is out. Obama is now the lowest, the fastest drop of any president ever, now beating even Jimmy Carter.
Well, and that says a mouthful as well, and that's true. I think the approval rating I last saw at Rasmussen was around a 44, and I haven't seen it in the new polls over the last week. But yes, they're trying to get as much accomplished as quickly as possible because I think that, and you do as well, from the polls, that and I said this in January, that Obama would be 40 by September, October in his approval rating.
You did. You're right again, Bob.
He's not going to get anything passed.
You're right again. How did you, at the peak of the Obama worship, know he was going to fall like a shooting star? Because, you know, the bigger the hype, the more the empty promises, the faster it deflates.
Well, the reason I thought so was, and you saw the same thing I did. He is a pupil of Zbigniew Brzezinski. And that's just one faction of, say, two major factions within the Illuminists that run things. And when we saw Goldman Sachs and J.P. Morgan Chase and Citigroup and all of those companies giving these humongous amounts of money to the Democratic group and as well as Mr. Obama's campaign, we're talking, millions of dollars. We knew then that he was going to be controlled by this group. and being controlled by the group means he's going to do exactly what they tell him to do. I don't think that he has anything to say about anything, much less what, maybe a little bit, but much less than George Bush had. I mean, you look at the teleprompter, and that's it.
Well, Bob, I agree with you, especially when I saw Clinton operative Stephanopoulos a few weeks ago tearing into Axelrod, his counterpart. That was the same position he held, saying, well, Obama lied about not raising taxes. He's raising it on everybody. And Axelrod saying, we never promised to not raise taxes. And then Stephanopoulos playing clips. They're meant now to blame it all on Obama like he's really the one running the show. Then they'll just give us a new puppet. I mean, this is so predictable. How do we get the public to look past Bush and Obama and these puppets to Paulson and Bernanke and Geithner and the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers? Well, that's starting to happen. So we'll talk about that, the economy, where you see all this going, and calls straight ahead. Infowars.com.